This video is going to show you how to build with a pinch pot. A pinch pot is one way to use hand building with clay and a great way to build a sculpture. People use pinch pots to build sculptures so that way they can make sure it's hollow and not going to explode. It also makes it light and not heavy. The first thing you will do is grab a chunk of clay and make a ball of clay out of it. This will become your pinch pot. Next, you're going to take your thumb and press a hole into the ball of clay. This will become the opening of your pinch pot. Make sure it's not too close to the bottom, but also not too far away from the bottom either. Then you will start to use your fingers and pinch the walls. The opening will become wider and the walls will become thinner. Try to be as even as possible all the way around the pinch pot. When you're done with your first pinch pot, set it aside and start your second one. Your second one can be smaller, larger, or the same size as the first pinch pot. It depends on what you are making. There are several ways to build with your pinch pots. You can stack them, put them next to each other. You're going to attach them in one way or another. Here's a couple different ways you can do that. The main goal is to have it be hollow. So if you stack them one on top of each other, you do need to poke a hole all the way through. I decided to make a lawn gnome, so I'm going to use a smaller pinch pot for the top for the head. You need to make sure when you attach your pieces you are scoring, slipping, sticking it down, and then smoothing it out every single time. Later you'll see me poke a hole through the top and the bottom of the pinch pot so that way it is hollow and won't explode. You'll notice that you can no longer see the seam of the separation of the two pinch pots. This way you know it's attached correctly and not going to fall off. Now you can add extra pieces of clay to add your details. So now I'm going to add some arms, I'll add some legs, hat and nose, all that kind of fun stuff. So just make sure you're adding things that are going to be structurally strong and add some interest to your sculpture. I mentioned poking a hole so it doesn't explode. Please make sure you do that. Even if there's an area that's really thick, you'll want to thin that out or poke a hole and do all those things so that way air can escape and it won't get trapped and then explode and ruin your sculpture. Next, I'm going to add some legs to my lawn gnome. I'm going to make sure that he is sitting and not standing so that way I don't have to worry about him standing and having him be balanced with his legs or his legs breaking off. So I just tuck him right underneath to make sure that he's structurally sound and he's sitting. So now I'm going to get into the finer details. I'll start adding shoes and hands, facial features, all the smaller stuff. So make sure once your structure is built first and it looks good and pretty smooth, you can add your details. All of the extra finishing and smoothing can be towards the end when it's a little bit drier. Going to add a hat to my lawn gnome, and I'm actually just making a long and narrow pinch pot so that way I know it's hollow and air can escape once I poke the hole through the hat. So I try to hide the hole later. You can't see them through the video, but I do poke a hole later so the air can escape and it is also hollow. done building my pinch pot sculpture. Now I just need to wait until it's leather hard to do any extra carving and smoothing so it looks more finished. Here's an example of a finished wand gnome I've done a couple years ago. And then I also have student examples here that you can look at as inspiration. So different people decided to use their pinch pots in different ways. So the cupcake's stacked and then the fish is using the pinch pots together. So it's up to you on how you finish it. Here are a couple reminders for your pinch pot sculptures. You need to make sure you are using pinch pots to build with. You can use more than two, but you need to have more than one for sure. You can have more than that if you'd like. Your sculpture must be hollow so it doesn't explode. You must poke a hole where it is hollow, and then you're going to add the detail and the texture and make sure it's nice and neat and not rough and sloppy so I can fire it. If it is too roughly put together and not neat, then I just will have to wait to fire it. You can build whatever you'd like with your pinch pots. It can be a character or an animal, something you made up. It's up to you. You can look up ideas online. You can use the student examples I've given you for some ideas. Just make sure you come up with your own original idea and be creative.